In the vision, it was something about my cousin Irma. My cousin Irma. And there was something about a white man and something about my cousin Irma being pregnant and something about someone came in and was like, oh, she had them babies. And I was wondering, like, I'm like, in the vision, I was like, was they covering up my pregnancy? And then, like, who was she pregnant by or something? And there was something about my pregnancy and them covering up my pregnancy. And then they had said that she gave birth or something. And I didn't see her give birth. But they were saying she gave birth. And it was something about my mother's house. And something about me needing to give birth as well. And I went to the babies. And I was like, I know she pregnant by a white man. Is it my baby daddy? And all of a sudden, they were saying she gave birth to some twins. And I had been in the room. And I know I was pregnant. And all of a sudden, there was a whole bunch of people around. And I held her baby like I went and picked up her kids. Something about her babies. And I went to the little baby and it was a boy and a girl. And I had them both in my arms. And they had white daddy. And I knew my baby daddy was white. And I know they was covering up my baby, my pregnancy. So I held the little babies in my arm. It was a girl and a boy. The boy was smaller than the girl, but she was small too. And I just kept walking around with both her babies in my arms by a white man. And I wanted to know more. Who is your baby daddy? Where did you meet him? How long were you carrying? And I held the little boy and he was upside down. I held him because he had just been born. And I turned him around and held him up in my arms. And he was so small. He looked like, I was wondering, is this my baby daddy's children? Then I looked at the little girl and I had the little girl in my arms too. And they had a white daddy. Very light, bright children. And I know my cousin don't even really sleep with white men as far as I know, so. Her stomach was like almost just as small as mine. What it is now. So I was wondering, cause when she have babies, she be big. All women usually get real big when they pregnant. And my stomach was so small, you could barely tell that I'm pregnant. And I remember seeing somebody hiding a little girl. I was like running through the house because all of a sudden I had the little boy in my arms and he was so small. And then I was like, I'm taking him. I was like, where's the little girl? And I saw the little girl. They was hiding her underneath a car seat and she was drinking a bottle. And I went to the little girl and I said, give it to me. And my little sister, Shakina, was right next to the girl that was hiding, drinking a bottle, propped up against the car seat, underneath the car seat. And then when I picked up, she was huge. She turned and grew into this big old toddler. And she was so big, I had to ask somebody else to hold her for me. Then I started walking down the street with no babies. and I was still felt like I was pregnant. And I started screaming and crying because when I was wanting to know, like, why they didn't help me in those clinics lying about my pregnancy. So when I give birth, or if I